Hi team, I hope you're all well. Today we are going to be starting a new reading vlog. This week I am doing the F1 readathon with my patrons, and usually I do these readathons as a 24-hour readathon. They are monthly, and I have decided to do a special edition one of this. This is Jade's fault. She came up with the idea, so thanks Jade. But this is going to be a week round special edition one called the Box Readathon, and the aim is to read subscription box books for the week. That is the only prompt. I did say to my patrons if they wanted more specific prompts I could give them to them, but they have been good eggs and they are like, no, special edition is the only prompt we need. So I want to run you through exactly what I think I'm going to read this week. I know I keep saying I should stop doing this, but I do have specific books I would like to get to. There is one that immediately jumped to my mind last night as well, while I started my first one, and I would like to try and get to that as well. Maybe, we will see. But before we do get into that, I would like to thank the sponsor of today's video, who are Teddy Blake. I have worked with Teddy Blake before earlier on this year, and they sent me this absolutely gorgeous bag which is currently housing my TBR. I wanted to show you how much you could fit in here, and I love this bag. It is so nice. It's worn really well. In fact, to be honest, it's not worn at all. The quality of it is absolutely perfect. It is such a gorgeous bag. You can fit so much in here as well. I think I can actually even fit my laptop in here, which is the main reason that I got it, because I wanted a bag to put my laptop in. I do now have a proper laptop bag, but this is really handy if I'm just nipping out to a cafe or something. I want to take my book and my laptop and my camera, do a little bit of work while I'm out and about, and the quality of it is so nice. The leather is looking really good considering it's been used, and well used at that, and I just really love this bag. So they do have a sale, and you can get up to 75% off their products. I will leave a link to them in the description box down below if you would like to go and check them out. I would highly recommend. Their products are absolutely beautiful. The craftsmanship is incredible. This one does have 2 zips in it as well, 2 compartments, one at the front, one at the back, for easy access to your phone, your purse, your keys, etc. And yeah, the size of it inside as well, I will give you a quick look inside, but I do have my books in here for my TBR. I did get the one with the blue inside, which I absolutely love. Completely goes with my theme and my favourite colour. And there are poppers on the side of this as well, so you can tighten the bag up if you wanted to, because obviously there is no immediate zip across the top, so if you wanted to tighten it up you could do. But yeah, I absolutely love this bag. Thank you so much Teddy Blake for sponsoring another video, and I am now going to pull my TBR out of here because I thought that that would be a really fun thing to do. Who the heck knows? Anywho, my main priority for this readathon is Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. This is the normal Waterstones edition, but I do have the Illumicrate edition as well, so it does still count for Box. But this is the one that I did start last night. I just wanted to get a little bit of a head start on it, because sometimes I can really struggle getting into a new book. I finished a book last night for a different vlog, and I thought I might as well immediately dive into this one, even if I only get a few pages in. Sometimes just even starting a book can be difficult for me. So I only got 46 pages into this one. We are following Gabriel de Leon. I'm not 100% certain what he is right now, but I think there is vampires in here. It is a vampire story, and he is basically telling this cold blood, is what he calls it, exactly like his entire story from start to current day, of him, his family, etc., how he learned that he is what he is, which I don't 100% know what that is yet, and I don't know if it's mentioned in the synopsis as well. But yeah, I'm really intrigued by this. Oh, it says Gabriel de Leon, half man, half monster, and last remaining Silver Saint, a sworn brother of the Holy Silver Order, dedicated to defending the realm from the creatures of the night, is all that stands between the world and its end. It's been 27 long years since the last sunrise. For nearly 3 decades, vampires have waged war against humanity, building their eternal empire even as they tear down our own. Now, only a few tiny sparks of light endure in a sea of darkness. And he's been imprisoned by the monsters as well. So he's currently in prison and he's telling one of the Cold Bloods his story because he's asked for it. So I'm really intrigued by this. I'm enjoying the writing style already. I like the way that these two speak to each other. There's clearly hatred from Gabriel to, is this thing called Jean-Francois, he's French. There is clearly hatred on Gabriel's side with Jean-Francois, and I don't know the reasoning behind him wanting to know his story, but it's very intriguing so far. I'm really enjoying the storytelling. I was anxious about going into this. I love Jay Kristoff combined with Amy Kaufman for the Aurora cycle and also the Illuminae files, but when I've tried to read Jay Kristoff on his own, I have read Nevernight. It was okay. I never continued on with it. I have struggled a little bit, but I'm really enjoying this so far. Also, we have illustrations in here as well, and they're really, really beautiful. Quite graphic, but beautiful. I've already had, I think, 2 or 3. So yeah, this is my main goal for this reading vlog. I also did pick this out my Patreon pot at some point as well. I think it was back in September or August from Aslout, so it is good that I'm getting to that as well for my Patreon readathon. I think that's fantastic. So this is my main goal. I would love to finish this tomorrow. This is a 700 odd page book. I'd love to finish this tomorrow, but I've got a lot on today. So we do have Patreon sprints. I am going to get some reading in, but my brother, sister-in-law and Thomas are coming this afternoon to have some tea and put the Christmas tree up. So how much I actually get through today, I don't know, which is another reason why I wanted to get a head start on it. So the second book I would like to focus on is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I was just pulling these out of this bag. By Rachel Gillig, which I would really like to read. Everyone's been going absolutely nuts for this book recently, and I'm really intrigued by it. So yeah, I would like to read this one as well. This is following Elspeth Spindle, who has an ancient mercurial spirit trapped inside her head. And I think it's her, she calls him the Nightmare. It's her trying to wage war on whether or not to let this thing take over. But as she starts to get closer to this other guy, it does start to kind of take over, and she realises she doesn't have as much control as she would like. And yeah, I'm really intrigued by this one as well. I have heard fantastic things, so I'm very excited about this one. This is a Farrelly one, so it would be great to get to that one as well. And then I do have the Patreon buddy read for November and December, which is Mortal Longings by Chloe Gong, which is another Farrelly one. And I'm really intrigued by this one as well. I'm just hoping that this one does better than Shanghai Immortal, because that was a terrible book, and the word immortal is also in that book. #1 New York Times bestselling author Chloe Gong's adult epic fantasy debut, inspired by Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra, is a fierce collision of power plays, spilled blood and romance amidst a set of deadly games. I DNF'd These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, which was a Romeo and Juliet retelling, and I know the Romeo and Juliet story. I don't know the Antony and Cleopatra story, so I don't know if that's going to go in my favour or not, but regardless, I am intrigued by this one. It's very pretty indeed. So I will go into more in depth with these stories once I pick them up, but yeah, I would like to read this one as well. Bear in mind this is only a week-long readathon. I don't know who I think I am. I'm also partway through Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, which was my September-October Patreon buddy read, and I haven't finished yet, but I am 71 pages in. I would really like to get back round to this one, but if I don't do it in this reading vlog, that's fine. And then similarly, I just mentioned in that one briefly because I'm not 100% getting to it. Similarly with this one, last night, obviously I started Empire of the Vampire, which is a vampire story. And then I was like, oh, I would really like to read another vampire story, and completely forgot that I bought secondhand off of Vinted a couple of weeks ago, The Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead, another Farrelly one. This was a special edition set of the trilogy, and although I did buy them secondhand, it still counts. I have said to my patrons, if you don't get a subscription service, or you don't have any subscription books available because you've read them all, kudos to you. But if there is a book that you own on your shelves that was featured in a box, that works, it counts. So also any special editions you bought outside of your subscription service is fine as well. So yeah, I don't know, I'm just in the mood to give this a read and see whether or not I'm going to like it. I've been in the mood to give this a read since Vampathon, but they came after Vampathon finished, so I didn't get a chance to give it a read. And because although it's a chunky book, the text in here is absolutely freaking massive, but the audiobook isn't too long either, so I feel like it might be nice to break up some of the longer audiobooks. Not Empire the Vampire, because I can't read 2 vampire stories at the same time. But yeah, it's a potential. I'm not 100% going to get to this, but it's a potential. It would be nice to give it a bash, and I feel like now's a good time to do so. So yeah, that's what I've just mentioned. My main focus is Empire the Vampire, One Dark Window and Immortal Longings, and then I hate to say it, but I probably would prioritise Vampire Academy over Divine Rivals. I really shouldn't, but I probably would. I will get to Divine Rivals, I'll come back round to it, but I'm just really in the mood for Vampire Academy, so I might give that a bash, but we'll see. So yeah, that is what I am planning on reading for this vlog. We will see how it goes. As I said, brother, sister-in-law and nephew coming around this evening to do the tree. That will not be featured in this vlog because it's going in a different video. You will notice that I have already started decorating in here for Christmas. I am doing a separate video for that towards the end of the month, so keep your eyes peeled for that because I'm really excited about it. But yeah, that is my plan for this vlog, and I'm hyped. I'm excited for this round of the readathon, to be fair. I have thought about just booking the week off work, staying home and reading all week. I can't do that, but yeah, I have thought about it. But I'm really excited. I hope you're excited to come along for the ride. I am hyped. I've got lots of sprints planned, so I do have sprints planned in the next, I would say, 45 minutes. What time is it now? 9:15. That was actually a really good shout. 10 o'clock I've got sprints arranged, and then for today, tomorrow sprints are arranged for 11. And then I've got sprints planned for Friday night, Saturday and Sunday. So I'm really hyped. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping to get plenty read because I'm really wanting to get motoring on some of these books. So yeah, I also could go back to Iron Flame because I am, although I don't have the special edition yet, I am getting the Fairy Loot one. So I could go back to that, but I don't want to rush through that book. I want to take my time with it, ish. I do need to get back to it though. So yeah, that's my plan. I am going to go maybe try and get a little bit more reading of this in before I start my sprints in 45 minutes. And I will check back in with you later when I've got an update for you. Been a couple hours, it's 12:15. I haven't made much progress in my book at all, but I wanted to come back on and tell you a little story. So I went to get my nails done the other day. Oh, by the way, these are my new nails. Is it going to focus? Hello, is there anybody home? There we go. Little cheeky leopard print. It went with my dress for the baby shower, and while I was getting my nails done, I was talking to my nail tech, Sally, and she loves Crocs. She lives in them. My brother and sister-in-law have just bought each other a pair for Christmas, and I've just bought Thomas a fluffy pair for Christmas ones. And she was going on about them, and she was like, aren't they dead comfy? I said, Sally, I've never put my foot in a Croc before in my life. And she was really disappointed in me. Anyway, I ended up telling Tara about it, and she was like, you should get a pair of the fluffy ones. Just try them. So I bought a pair of the fluffy ones. and now I refuse to take them off. I don't wear them outside. I'm thinking about getting some black ones as well, because I did buy white ones, some nice clean white ones. But I am thinking about getting some black ones, and I only wanted to show you because I've gone and bought some charms for them as well. So I haven't put them on the table, don't panic, they're on my knee. So I wanted to show you some of the charms that I've got. They've not all come yet, I bought 6 in total, but I'm planning on getting more because naturally, my feet are now really, really cold. Because naturally, I do want to get another pair of these. I want to get a black pair, I think. But I did buy a couple of charms. So I obviously got a daisy and a bee, because it just makes sense. Hang on. A daisy and a bee. It just makes sense. And then I got a couple of Winnie the Pooh ones. So the one that has come is this 100 Acre Wood sign, which I think is really, really cute. I'll show you the Winnie the Pooh one when it comes. I'm hoping it'll come this week. And then we went a little bit dark. So this is why I want to get a black pair as well, so that I can have a dark pair and a light pair. So the light pair will be cute and cozy, Daisy and Bee, Winnie the Pooh, etc, etc. The dark pair will be potentially horror themed. I got Michael Myers. I also got Ghostface, so he's not here yet, but he's on his way. And I thought we could decorate them together. I just thought I would come on and decorate them with you. So I don't know how the fuck this works. Oh, there we go. So there is my daisy, and I'm going to put the bee on the other one. Kind of want to put it in the same hole, but on the other side for consistency. So the daisy and bee are in. Is that right? Yep. And then I want to pour 100 Acre Wood. Tara's going to be so impressed when she comes around later and I've got my new little things on. So I put 100 Acre Wood there, and then I will put Michael Myers on this one just because, for consistency of having 2 on each. I'll probably put Michael there for now. That he will come off there and actually go on my black pair when I get a black pair as well. Thinking about putting them in my wish list for the fam to get me them potentially. So this is how they're looking right now. I will put my new Winnie the Pooh one when it comes there so that it matches. And then probably get some more charms for the light ones, and then some dark charms for my black ones when I get them. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and tell you about that because I thought they were really cute. There's going to be those of you that are looking at me going, no, what is the matter with you? Why are you wearing Crocs? And then, because there's 2 camps as far as Crocs are concerned, and then there's going to be those of you going, listen, fantastic purchase. Treat yourself. But yeah, it's the charms more than anything that got me. So yeah, and now I'm tempted to actually I won't wear these outside as a regular thing, but I'm tempted to wear them to my next appointment to see if she notices, because I haven't told her I got them yet. I'm tempted to do so, but I kind of think it will be a really fun surprise if I just wear them to hers. She's got a pair of leopard print ones, and they're really cute. She got them for her birthday. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you about my Crocs. I was really excited about the charms and I needed to tell somebody, so I've told you guys now. Told my patrons already, but I've told you guys as well now. So anywho, I'm gonna go and get some more reading done. Hello, happy Tuesday. I am late with an update for you today. It's currently just gone 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's gone very dark. It's absolutely pouring down with rain outside, but I am here to give you an update on my reading. I'm currently doing sprints. We're on the last sprint actually, because I've decided that I want to try and finish this book before I go to Andy, so I don't need to take it with me this evening. But I am still making my way through Empire of the Vampire, and I am a very decent way in. I'm 518 pages in. I've got bang on 200 pages left to go, and I am really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying the characters and the banter. The writing style is so easy. The audiobook is fantastic. The narrator's doing a really good job, and I'm really having a good time with this. I think I was talking to Jade about this last night, and I said to her I actually think she might enjoy this, because I know she's been on the fence about it, but I actually think she would enjoy it. I think she'd like the writing style and the banter between the characters. It's giving not too much, but it's giving Traitor's Blade vibes. Breakout series by Sebastian de Castell, which is one of Jade's favourite series. And it's giving those vibes with the banter and stuff. There's a character called Bouchette in here, and Gabriel is constantly saying to Bouchette, shut the fuck up, Bouchette, constantly. And it's very much giving Kest shouting at Brasty all the time. Shut up, Brasty, all the time. It's very much giving that, and every time it happens it makes me chuckle. There's been several places in here where I have been chuckling along. It's really, really good. I am absolutely loving it. I'm loving the world building, I'm loving the writing style, I'm loving the characters, I'm loving the banter. We are following Gabriel de Leon, who I've told you about the synopsis previously, but we're following Gabriel de Leon, and we start off with him. He's being imprisoned by cold bloods, essentially vampires, and one of the cold bloods approaches him and has said that he wants to know his story. So this is Gabriel's story essentially, and we are going through the motions with him, and it's quite entertaining, sad, traumatic. There are lots of feelings happening in this book, and I'm just really enjoying it. I'm having a really good time. I'm kind of hoping that by getting through this and enjoying myself, it might encourage me to go back to some of my high epic chunky fantasy books, because I was going through my core pile list yesterday and I noticed that I haven't been reaching for those as much this year, and it's kind of sad because there's a lot on my shelves that I know I'm really intrigued about getting to. So yeah, I started Ruin of Kings, for example. I didn't get too far in that book, but I did start it and I haven't continued it, and I would like to do so. I got 96 pages in. This is Jade's other favourite series of all time. Similarly, I did start Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson as well. I don't have too much longer to go with that, but I just wasn't enjoying it as much as I have enjoyed previous Brandon Sanderson works. You know, I would like to read Rage of Dragons. I'm just looking at my chunky fantasy shelf. Rage of Dragons, Sword of Kaigan. I would like to get to these books, but I seem to have been focusing more on fantasy romance and normal romance, thrillers, horrors this year. So yeah, I'm hoping this will get me back into my chunky fantasy era, maybe. We will see. But I am truly enjoying this. I'm having a really good time, and I really enjoy it. So I'm hoping to finish this today before I go to Andy's. I've got 200 pages left, about 3 hours of the audio. So I've got one last sprint with my patrons. I've got 40 minutes left on that. And then I am hoping to just smash the rest of it out on my own. If I keep stopping and starting with sprints, I'm not going to get through it. I might only have like 50 pages left. And I don't really want to take this book with me for the sake of 50 pages. So that is my plan. And then my intention to move on to next, I plan on taking, what did I do with it? Oh, it's there. I plan on taking with me to Andy's then Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong, and probably making a start on that as well. If I've got time, I'll actually make a start on this before I leave the house, because if I don't do that and I don't start it this evening, I'll find it really, really hard to pick this up at some point this week. So just in general, any book, I like to finish a book and go straight into my next book, because otherwise I find starting a book the hardest portion of reading. But that is my plan. I know I mentioned yesterday when I started this vlog that I would really like to read Vampire Academy. I would, but Amanda has just mentioned in the chat that she is going to be picking up Lotus next, because this was featured in the Mystic box, which I believe is an American box. Lotus and Still Beating, there are special editions of it going around. So I'm thinking this is actually on my November TBR, so it would be dumb of me not to try and fit this in this week. So I'm going to take this with me to Andy's as well. I am already 63 pages in. I'm not going to restart it because I know exactly what's happened up until this point. But we're following Oliver Lynch, who 22 years ago went missing as a child. He has been told, he's been convinced that the world is now apocalyptic, a bomb went off and you can no longer go up outside. He basically lives in a bunker, and eventually one day, 22 years later, he gets out and he is free, and he's now trying to reintegrate himself back into his old life with his brother and with his best friend, who is called, I forget her name, Sydney. I forget her name every single time, Sydney, who remembers him as the little boy when he went missing. So he's trying to reintegrate himself and they're trying to find out what happened to him exactly. So I'm really excited about reading this one, and I'm really glad that I am able to fit it into this readathon, to be honest, because I have started to freak out about how many books I still want to get to for the rest of the month and also for next month when I have so many things going on. Also, Gav and Jade have just announced the Believeathon for Patreon, and I really want to take part in that next week. So just adding more books to my TBR that I don't really have time for, but I'd love to take part in it. So we'll see how that goes. I'll probably just end up making that part of the monthly vlog and dipping in and out of middle grade as well as normal books and see how that goes. But yeah, so I'm adding this to my TBR. I'm potentially taking Vampire Academy off, but if I make time for it this weekend, I will try and fit it in. What I need to do is try and make time over the next 2 days while I'm at Andy's, try and make some time for some reading. If he goes on the PlayStation, that's very easily done, but otherwise I do like to spend some time with him and watch TV and stuff. He's actually off Wednesday, Thursday, so it's not even like I can go home earlier from work or just go straight back to his from work and get a few hours reading in because he's off. So yeah, we will see. But Lotus is going on here, so those are going to be what I'm taking to Andy's, and I'm going to try and finish off Empire of the Vampire before I leave the house. So I will keep you posted. I'll let you know. I'll probably come back and update you once I've finished Empire of the Vampire, and I'm going to go and get that done now.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. Oh, you and I, we got it. We don't need no can weather any storm.
Hello, it is currently Thursday evening. It's around 11 o'clock in the evening. Haven't updated you in a couple of days because I've been at work and I've been at Andy's and it's been really busy. So yeah, it's been a busy couple of days. This evening we were supposed to go out for a meal with my brother, my sister-in-law and Thomas, but my brother's feeling really unwell, so they've not ended up coming. But me and Andy have been out on a date night, which we haven't done for a while, and we should make more of an effort to do. So it's been lovely, it's been really nice. Then we went for a couple of drinks after. I wasn't drinking because I was coming home, and the reason for coming home, because he's actually off work tomorrow, but the reason for coming home is that I am having a rather large delivery from IKEA tomorrow. I've also got a shelving unit coming for downstairs in the living room tomorrow as well from Amazon. But yeah, I have wardrobes, a set of drawers for the bedroom coming tomorrow from IKEA, and then for in here I've got another Billy bookcase for the shop stock and a set of drawers as well. So really big delivery coming tomorrow, and I wanted to make sure that I was here for it. So I have come home this evening. It's kind of worked out because Andy's going to go shopping tomorrow with his brother, I think, to get my birthday presents, and his brother needs to do a bit of Christmas shopping, so it's kind of worked out. But it has meant that we haven't had a great deal of time together this week because the Wednesday, Thursday I've been working. Yesterday and today I've been working. and he's been off. So our usual routine when he's got his Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off is that I work Wednesday, Thursday, but stay at his Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then spend Friday with him and then go home Friday evening. But it's not worked out that way this week, which is fine. He's gonna come round Sunday night when he's finished work and help me build the wardrobe on Monday. But I am gonna build the bookcase and the set of drawers for in here. But I thought I'd better come on and update you, because even though I haven't been updating you, I have been doing a little bit of reading. Not a lot, but a little bit. So when I got to Andy's on Tuesday night, he was on the PlayStation, so I decided to take the opportunity to do a bit of reading. Have I updated you that I finished Empire of the Vampire? I don't know if I have. I finished Empire of the Vampire. It's downstairs. I'm assuming that I updated you, but maybe I didn't. Oh no. I finished Empire of the Vampire. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. It got 4.5 on Corpile, but I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads because I really, really enjoyed it. I loved everything that I've already told you. I loved the world building, the characters, and the storytelling, the way it was told. I really loved the banter between the characters. And I just had a really good time with it. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I'm very excited now for Empire of the Damned, and I'm really glad that I picked it up and read it. So I did finish that on Tuesday before I left the house to go to Andy's. I'm fairly certain I updated you on that. If I did, I'm gonna have cut this out. And then when I got to his, he was playing the PlayStation, so I decided to continue my reading mojo instead of just stopping for a few days. I decided to continue my reading mojo, and I actually picked up Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong, which is my Patreon buddy read for November, December. This is an Antony and Cleopatra retelling, I believe. A fiery collision of power plays, spilled blood, and romance amidst a set of deadly games. So we are in a city called San the dangerously dense capital twin cities of the kingdom of Talin, and every year thousands flock when the palace hosts a set of deadly games. Those confident in their ability to jump between bodies can enter a fight to the death for the chance to win unimaginable riches. So I did get to page 59 and promptly DNF this book. I am sad about it. I was really hoping that I would like this. I was really hoping that this would not be the second Immortal DNF of the year, because I DNF'd Shanghai Immortal. That book was so fucking shit. It was really bad. But this one, it's not that I have really mixed feelings about it, to be honest. So we're following August, we're following Calla, and we're following Anton. So August is the king's son and the heir to the throne. The king is a prick and treats everybody in the city like shit, even the rich people. He treats everyone like shit. Princess Calla is August's cousin and has faked her own death so that she can basically enter these games and kill the king, with no real goal at the end other than to kill the king. And Anton is just a random guy who we're following, who needs to enter the games to get the riches to help someone out. I didn't get to the point where I understood the full ins and outs of his story at all, but he's already in someone else's body who is a banker and has loads of money. He's got access to their accounts and everything, so I don't know why he just doesn't go that route, but apparently he needs to enter these games. Fuck knows why. So the things that bothered me about this, the world building. Chloe Gong goes on a lot about San Air, but really, really crams it down your throat. Really crams it down your throat. It's not just a little sentence here or there told to us from the viewpoint of a character or anything. It is blocks and blocks of text of world building, and I did not like it. The story with Princess Calla wanting to enter the games to kill the king because of how he's treating people, etc. Cool plot line. that then gets ruined by August approaching her, finding out she's still alive, approaching her, asking her to do what she was going to do anyway, but so that he can take the throne. Now, he is kind of better than his father, but not much more better. So it's in his benefit that she kill his dad, which she was planning on doing anyway, but it's now so that he can get the throne. So her intention, her reason why she's doing this has now changed a little bit. And then Anton, which again, I don't know a great deal about, and I have just explained to you. I was 59 pages into this and I didn't care much for any of these characters. They don't have a lot of dialogue with them. We had a conversation between August and Callum, but other than that, there's not much dialogue. And then the whole body jumping business made me feel really uncomfortable, gave me the ick. So these games essentially are set in the city. There is no arena. The arena is the city. You can jump in anybody's body at any time. There is no need for consent, and apparently everyone in the city is okay with this. And we start off with August actually jumping into the body of a young girl in order to get to where he's going for a meeting, and it made me feel really uncomfortable because we got to a point where August jumped then from her body into a bodyguard's body, security guard's body, and she basically, these people come back into their bodies and they have no clue what has happened in the time that they have been taken over by this other person. They have no memory of it. So she's now in the middle of town somewhere on her own. She's a young girl. I think she was like 7 or something. And she's no clue what just happened. And I just feel like it's a huge violation of people and their rights. Do you know what I mean? It made me feel really uncomfortable. It gave me the ick a little bit. I didn't like it and I didn't want to continue on with it. I don't know the story of Antony and Cleopatra, so I can't tell you whether or not this was going that way or not. I have seen mixed reviews on that on Goodreads. And then it's also being compared to the likes of the Hunger Games as well. So I understand it in the sense that there are trials, but the Hunger Games is very different. The people in the Hunger Games, you know the story of the Hunger Games, they're dragged into this kicking and screaming, like literally. They have no choice and it is literally a fight to the death, which this is as well. There is like 86 people that join it, and the last person to survive, you have to go around killing everybody else. But you don't know who anybody is because they're jumping from body to body. Now, I don't know what happens in a situation where, for example, someone is in somebody else's body and then they get killed. Whether it's just a case of the person that has invaded that person's body dies, or whether both people then die. I don't know how that happens, but essentially you're killing 86 unsuspected victims that did not fucking sign up for this. They may be excited about the games, but they did not sign up to take part. You know what I mean? It just made me very uncomfortable. The comparison with the Hunger Games didn't sit right with me. It's very, very different to the Hunger Games. The only thing similar is the whole trials thing, the games side of it. That is literally the only thing similar. Yeah, no, I wasn't happy with it. So I'm granted, I'm glad that it's off my TBR, but I am gutted that I was not happy with this one. So it is what it is, but that is now my second book down, not finished, but it's off my TBR, which is great news. Whether I see this as a positive thing. So I know one of my patrons during this readathon, she's finished 2 books and DNF 2 books, but she was getting really down about it because her first read wasn't a great star rating. I think it got 3 stars. Then she DNF'd 2 books back to back and she was getting really down about it, and I said, look, the way you've got to look at this is that first of all, you're making progress in subscription box books, which is fantastic news. Second of all, if you DNF the book, you have given it a try, but you didn't like it, and that's okay. And yes, it's a kick in the dick when you DNF 2 books back to back, especially for a readathon. There's nothing worse. But you've now got that book off of your TBR one way or another. Either you've read it, you're keeping it, or you've read it and you're getting rid of it, or you didn't like it and you're getting rid of it. You know, I see it as progress no matter what it is, even if it's negative feedback. So I ended up saying that to her, and I think she felt a little bit better then. She then picked up a book, smashed it out in one sitting and gave it 5 stars. So swings and roundabouts, you know. But yeah, so I'm glad that I gave this a try. I'm sad that it's not one for me, but it is what it is. I just couldn't carry on with it. I was not in the mood for this. So that is my first DNF of the readathon, but that is my second book down for the readathon. I then went on, because I only had one other book with me, so I then went on to continue on and make some more progress in Lotus by Jennifer Hartman, which I did say before I left on Tuesday that I was going to take this with me, and that albeit I don't have a special edition of this, I have said to my patrons that if you don't get subscription box services or you are up to date with your sub books, kudos to you, could never be me, then you can use books that have been featured in sub boxes that you might own but you don't have the special edition of. So Amanda very kindly let me know that this was in a US box called Mystic Box, I think, and which is fantastic news because this was already on my NBR for the month. So I decided that I was going to continue on with this one. I wasn't too far in. I think I was maybe 80, I think that's where I was actually, 83 pages in. Haven't made a great deal of progress because I'd already read 59 pages of Immortal Longings. Then I continued on with this for a little bit, and then Andy came off the PlayStation. So I made it to page 115. I think I'm fairly certain I told you about this when I told you I was going to take it with me. So my intention tomorrow, I think I'm going to get in bed and actually listen to a little bit more of this while I just play some games on my iPad, get myself settled down for bed, and then my intention tomorrow is to finish this and move on to something else. I'm going to tell you whatever that is tomorrow because I'm going to see what mood I'm in. Obviously One Dark Window is still on my TBR for this readathon and I would still really like to read that, but I now have 3 full days at home, which is great news, and there is potential for me to finish a book every day. So I could get through 3 more books, including this one. So this one, One Dark Window, and then something else. Maybe. We will see what happens with the weekend. But I have 3 full days at home. This hasn't happened in the longest time because usually I get a maximum of 2 full days at home before I'm back at Andy's again or back at work. My part-time job with my dad. But yeah, so I am enjoying this so far. It's going well. I'm not enjoying it as much as Still Beating. It's not got me as hooked as Still Beating. Maybe that's because I had a break for a really long time between picking it up initially and then picking it up again this time round. But I am hoping that tomorrow I can get my teeth sunk into this and really enjoy it again. I know Amanda has picked this one up and she gave it 5 stars, I'm fairly certain. So yeah, I'm excited I managed to get this one on. I then did look at the rest of my TBR to see whether or not I recognised if anything else had been picked up in a subscription box before. There is a possibility, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead was in Book of the Month. So I might check that out tomorrow and see whether or not I can get this on this weekend as well. Because the more books that are actually on my NBR that I can get in this week, the better. Next week, Gavin is doing Believeathon with Jade, and I would really like to take part. It's Patreon readathon that he now does. He used to do it publicly, but it's now just Patreon only. And I would really like to take part next week, but my TBR is overwhelming me so much that I just don't know if I'm going to be able to make room for it. So if I can fit more of these on, they're actually on my NBR for the month that I really do want to get through for one reason or another. This is on my end of year TBR, as is this. Then that would be great. So I am going to look into that and see whether or not this was featured in Book of the Month. I feel like it was. I'm going to check it out though and double check that. Obviously in the UK we don't get Book of the Month, so I wouldn't be able to get that subscription box even if I wanted to. But yeah, I'm going to check that out. Maybe I can fit this on this weekend, which would take me down to 1, 2, 3 books for the rest of the month. I think it's 3. Maybe 3 books for the rest of the month, which would be great news because it would mean that I could fit in Believeathon next week and then finish those other 3 books for the end of November, for the last few days of November, the following week. So good stuff. So I'm going to check that out, but I'm going to go. I just wanted to come and give you what was not so much a quick update. I ended up rambling a little bit about Immortal Longings. My battery died several times because I haven't charged any of my batteries in an age, so I kept plugging them in and then recharging them for like 5 minutes. This one's now flashing again, so I'm going to go before that dies again and I have to change my battery again. But I will come back and check in with you when I finish Lotus and probably do some building work tomorrow once about that furniture's been delivered. So I will see you. Okay, hello. It is Friday evening. It is 7:20. No, it's not. It's 5:20. It's 17:17. I really need to change the clocks on my laptop so that they're a 12-hour clock rather than 24. It is 5:20. I nearly said it again. It's been a really busy day today, so I haven't had a chance to update you yet. Also, I didn't see the point until I finished my next book, but I have imported the footage to this point. I have imported the footage up until this point, and I did not update you on Empire the Vampire. So it's a good job that I did last night. But I have now finished my second book, albeit you could say third book, because I did DNF Immortal Longings. And I've finished Lotus by Jennifer Hartman. I'm really happy that I've managed to get through this book. I started this back in March and ended up putting it down at the time because I wasn't in the right headspace, and I'm so glad that I've come back round to it. I enjoyed this. Did give it 4 stars, didn't like it as much as Still Beating, but I did still enjoy it regardless. We're following Oliver. I can't remember if I told you about this last time. Following Oliver Lynch, who went missing 22 years ago as a child, and his best friend Sydney, and also his brother. We get the POVs from Oliver and Sydney, obviously the romance is between them two, and he ends up finding his way back to everyday life. And it's the story of him trying to get back to his life and try and bring back memories and figure out why what happened and things like that. It gets very, very dark towards the end. It seemed like a simple reason why he was taken, but it does get very, very dark towards the end. And I enjoyed this. I thought it was good. It's not as dark as Still Beating, but still dark regardless. And I wasn't expecting for the darkness that it was to have happened. So before you pick any of these books up by Jennifer Hartman, do check your trigger warnings because there is a lot in them. Still Beating is, I think, still the most severe out of the 2 that I've read, but this has still got some things in it, so check your triggers. But yeah, 4 stars in this one. I liked the writing style. I did like the characters, but I weren't as invested in them as I was in Still Beating. And I think I enjoyed, despite how disturbing it was, I enjoyed the plot more in Still Beating than I did in Lotus. But I'm glad I've got to it now, because this was one of my books on my top 11 priority reads that I put on for this year, and also one of the books for my end of year TBR. So I've knocked that off 2 lists in the F1 readathon, in which we're reading subscription box books. I don't have a fancy subscription box edition of this, but it was in a subscription box book, so it still counts. So I'm really happy about that. So that's another book down, and next I'm gonna pick up One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I've been very intrigued about this one since it seems to have popped off quite a lot. A lot of people have enjoyed this one. Some people, it's even their favourite book of the year, which is fascinating to me. One Dark Window is Rachel Gillig's stunning debut novel, a gothic fantasy romance about a maiden who must unleash the monster within to save her kingdom. Sounds fascinating, and I'm very, very excited about it. This is the Fairy Loot edition. So I am hyped about this one. That's what I'm picking up next. Last night I did mention that I might try and get some books off of my November MBR on here if I can make them fit, and I mentioned that I thought that Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead was in Book of the Month. It was not. I did have a quick look to see if I can find it in any other book box subscription. I personally can't find it. Maybe it is in another subscription box, I'm not sure though. So we're not going to be picking up that one for this weekend, but one that I did find on Book of the Month that is on my TBR this month is also on my end of year TBR, and I think is on my priority TBR, 23 books in 2023, whether that be a recommended book or I've put it on my priority TBR, I can't remember. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. So this one apparently was in Book of the Month, so I can read it for this readathon. It will count. I don't get Book of the Month because I'm in the UK, but we can read books off of other subscription boxes that we may not get. So my plan is to read this one as well this weekend. So I'm hoping that I can make a decent dent in One Dark Window. It's taken me longer to get through Lotus today because I've been stopping and starting. I've been having furniture coming all day. I've had an IKEA delivery. You're currently sitting on a set of new drawers for the shop. I was meant to get a bookcase as well, but for some reason that's not turned up. I got some wardrobes for the bedroom and a set of drawers for the bedroom. I have not built those today, just the drawers for the library. I was going to do the bookcase as well, but that has not come, so I can't do it. Andy's going to come Sunday night to help me with the bedroom furniture on Monday because I can't do it myself. I can build it myself, but I can't move the parts myself. They're too heavy because it's a double wardrobe. So yeah, I've been stopping and starting. Furniture's been being delivered. I've had deliveries all day because I've had a new bookcase for downstairs delivered as well separately. Then I've had a delivery from DHL. So I've had deliveries all day. I've been stopping and starting. I had some lunch. I watched a YouTube video while I did that. So yeah, I treated myself to a bit of a lie-in this morning. I got up at 9:30, 10 o'clock. So yeah, I've been stopping and starting. It took me longer than I thought to get through Lotus, but I've managed it now. So I'm hoping I can make some decent progress in this today and then potentially finish it tomorrow morning. And then I think I will then move on to tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, get that done, and then make a decision what to do on Sunday. Really what I should do is go back to Divine Rivals because I'm already part way through it, but I am still tempted by Vampire Academy. I also have a bunch of other books that I currently own that I could get to that I didn't get in a subscription box, but I know have been featured in subscription boxes. So I don't know, I'm gonna see how I feel on Sunday, but right now these are my next 2 plans. So I'm very excited. It looks like I could get through more this week than I originally thought, seeing as I have 3 full days at home, today, tomorrow and yesterday. Pardon, today, tomorrow and Sunday even. So yeah, that is my plan. I've got a lot of stuff I need to do. I need to start getting the shop ready for Black Friday next week. I need to count all the stock shop, make sure I update it on the website. We have the winter stock coming because I ordered that this morning. I have a bunch of Instagram photos I need to take that I meant to do today, but I just didn't have time because I was trying to clear this room up so that I had room to build the furniture and clear the bedroom up to do the same thing. This room is looking a bit of a mess right now, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is bothering me. Because the bookcase hasn't come, it's really fucked me up because I've got nowhere now to put like all the notepads, which are currently just sitting here. All the notepads are just sitting there. I've got nowhere to put them. My printer's sitting here because right now I haven't got anywhere to put that. I don't know where it's going to go once my bookcase comes, but until my bookcase comes I can't properly sort anything out. I've managed to fill the drawers for the time being, but that might not stay 100%. I only wanted to do it so I can get rid of the old drawers out of this room so that there's room then for the bookcase whenever it does come. I don't know why it's not been delivered, but I need to contact them, but you have to leave it 72 hours apparently, so what do I know? I've only paid for a bookcase for it not to turn up. My back is killing and I need to go because I'm about to go live with my patrons in 4 minutes. So I will check back in with you probably when I've made a dent in this and let you know how it's going. But yeah, I'm having a great time so far and I'm glad that I've managed to make some progress in some books that I wasn't anticipating doing so as well. Fantastic news. I'll see you in a bit. Hello, it is Saturday. It's currently 1:10. I have sprint starting in 20 minutes at 1:30. And I have actually a couple of updates for you. Yesterday was wild. I did start One Dark Window. I've took the dust jacket off because I'm terrified I'll wreck the dust jackets if I leave them on when I read them. So I did read One Dark Window. I have just finished it literally this second. I've taken the camera out and put it straight on so that I remember to update you. I'm on a go slow today and you'll find out why in a minute. But yeah, I was going to update you halfway through this and then I had sprints with patrons last night. This was such a fast read. I ended up leaving the last hour for this morning because it was getting close to midnight last night when I finally finished sprints with my patrons and I literally had an hour of it left. So I smashed my way through this yesterday and then just finished it off this morning. I really enjoyed this. We're following Elspeth and then also Raven, and Elspeth had a disease when she was younger. She ended up touching, there's these cards where they can change things about you, and so there's this card, I can't remember what it's called now, but it changed her cousin, turned her into an incredibly beautiful woman, like physically changed her, and then she was more desirable to men. But when she was younger, Elspeth ended up touching the nightmare card, and she ended up with this thing inside of her head that she would speak to, but slowly but surely started taking more from her every time she asked for help. Then she comes across this guy called Raven, who also had the virus when he was younger. And the majority of people end up being killed when they've had this virus because they end up with magic in some way or another within them. So they end up being killed, but nobody, other than her family, nobody knows that Elspeth has magic. So she is still alive, same thing with Raven. And they end up coming together, they're trying to get all of the cards together, and they're trying to get the final few so that they're all together and stop the king from getting them all as well. So it was really good. I really liked the atmosphere in here. The atmosphere was really, really good. I enjoyed the whole nightmare thing. I thought that was fantastic. I am very excited for Two Something Crowns, I can't remember what it's called, the next one in this series though. Really excited for that. So glad that I finally read this, because that sale is coming up, I think on Tuesday. So I'm really happy with myself for reading this one. Or has the sale already been? I'm sure it's coming up on Tuesday. I think I put it in my diary last night. Two Twisted Crowns, sorry. Yeah, it's coming up on Tuesday, so I'm really happy because I can get hold of that to have matching copies. So yeah, really, really glad that I have finally read this one. I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars on Goodreads. So it was a really good read, so fast paced as well. The audiobook was very clever too. And I really enjoyed this whole card thing as well at the beginning of each chapter. Yeah, really had a good time. Glad I've read this one. Then at midnight last night, I ended up getting an ARC yesterday from an author who I applied for the ARC reviewers thing for them. I think they're an author that might be going to Rare, and I really want to go. So I'm hoping that I might be able to get a ticket nearer the time, because I did end up missing out on the tickets ever so slightly. But I ended up applying for the reviewer thing because I was like, this sounds really, really good. It was a hockey mafia romance, and I was intrigued to see how those two elements would come together and how well they could be done. And it was called Breakout. It's by Kylie Kent, and it came in yesterday morning about 5:30 in the morning, and I was like, right, okay, what I'm gonna do is try and get as far as I can with one dark window. My intention was to get like halfway through this and then finish it off today. That did not happen. I got the majority of the way through, debated whether or not to try and finish it for the sake of an hour when I came off sprints, but was like, I have this thing, I don't know if anyone else has this, but I have this thing where when I finish a book, if I don't go immediately, like that same day, if I don't go immediately into my next book, even if it's just 20 pages, I will struggle like hell for the next few days trying to start a book. So my thought process was that I would leave the 1 hour for this morning and then just make a start on Breakout. My thought process was, it comes out as well on Tuesday. So my thought process was to try and smash, because it was only 298 pages, try and smash 50 or 70 or so pages a day over the next few days and just try and get it finished for before Tuesday so I could do a review on Instagram for it. So I started this book last night. So this book follows Liam. It's got nothing to do with this readathon, but you'll find out in a minute why I am telling you about it in this vlog. So I started it at midnight last night when I got in bed. Well, maybe about half midnight when I got in bed last night, because I did fuck around on my phone for a little bit. And it's following Liam, who is an ice hockey player, an NHL player, who gets fired from his team because he beats the ever-loving crap out of his coach. And he's made quite the, very, very recently, made quite the name for himself as a party boy and a loose cannon. He ends up being picked up by the Vancouver Knights, who are owned and run by a mafia boss. Basically the head of the Monroe family. Now, we're also following Aliyah, who is the daughter of the owner of the Vancouver Knights, and he basically tells her that she needs to babysit Liam, she needs to do a load of PR with him and bring his reputation back, because he was he was known as like the prince of the NHL and all of this lot. So she has to try and bring his reputation back, follow his every move, get him to go and do loads of PR stuff and bring his reputation back, keep him on the straight and narrow, stop partying, etc, etc. So she reluctantly does this. She really doesn't want to do it, but she reluctantly does this. Not only has she got a dad, but she's got 3 older brothers who are all very protective and, to a point, incredibly overbearing. One of the brothers, Grayson, is actually the captain of the team. So she's had the warning that if she goes anywhere near Liam in a less than professional sense, he will end up with his blood all over the ice. So we end up following these 2 characters, and they have very much so, he immediately wants to bang her. He is quite the ladies' man. He immediately wants to bang her. She's having none of it, despite the fact she's incredibly attractive to him. And it's very intense and steamy, and I absolutely loved it. Not only that, but it's quite dark. I think it was done really well with the sports and mafia coming together. I thought that was done really, really well, but it's quite intense and dark in the sense that there is some childhood trauma at play here with Aliyah, and it's really, really done very, very well. She's clearly got PTSD, and I thought that that was done very well, and I just enjoyed it, the growth of both of these characters within the story. I loved the relationship. Initially, I was very off about the relationship with her and her brothers and father, because they are very overbearing, to the point that, like, she has never introduced a boyfriend to them before. She's always said that she would only introduce a boyfriend if she was completely in love with him and had every intention of marrying him and spending the rest of her life with him, because she couldn't trust that her family wouldn't just off them because they're not happy with the fact that she's with someone. So they're very overbearing and they can't be trusted. So it's just very interesting. I loved to see, there was a conversation that happened actually between her dad and Aliyah, and I ended up just sobbing, absolutely sobbing. This poor woman has absolutely no self-esteem, yet despite that, she comes across as incredibly confident, and I really, really loved it. So I started it about midnight. I finished it at 5:30 this morning. I read it in, it was 1 sitting, but you could say 2. I put the Kindle down for literally about 20 minutes to pick up my phone to just smooch on social media for a little bit and do an Instagram post when I was halfway through the book at about 2:30. And I fucking loved it. It was really, really good. I'm gonna try and go back through Kylie's backlist, because she's got some others as well. There's a a Valentino series, which again I think is another Mafia family series, and she has personally recommended that series to me now, because I've said to her I would like to go back and read some of your backlist. So she's personally recommended that one to me, so I think I want to go back and read those. But this is the first in a series, and the rest of them come out next year, and I just loved it. It was so good. If sports romance and mafia romance is your thing, with enemies to lovers, the babysitting trope, close proximity, he falls first, I would recommend this to you 100%. It's steamy, it's got on-page sex scenes, so if you prefer closed door, this one might not be for you. It's very steamy. He has such a big ego, and to start off with, I thought he was a pretty disgusting human being, because all he can think about every time he sees her is just banging her. And I was like, this man literally has a one-track mind. However, the growth of the characters within the story is just amazing. probably has the most growth, I would say. She's dealing with some shit, clearly, and it was just so good. I ended up giving it 5 stars. This book had me laughing, it had me blushing, I was sobbing my eyes out. The minute I started sobbing, I continued to read the section, but I then ended up messaging Kylie and I was like, what have you done to me? I have just been sobbing at the scene with her dad. She was like, I was sobbing when I was writing it. So if this sounds like it's a little bit of you, I would recommend picking it up. It will be out now that this video is up. It would have come out, I think this video is going up on Wednesday, so it would have come out yesterday. So do go and check it out. It's on Kindle Unlimited. I would highly recommend it. It was so, so good. Breakout by Kylie Kent. It was really, really good. It's been a long time since I've stayed up all night reading a book, a very long time. So any book that can have me doing that, I literally picked my phone up once the whole time I was reading that book. So any book that can have me up all night laughing, blushing and sobbing, all in 298 pages, it's not a long book at all. 5 stars straight up. So I wasn't anticipating doing that. My intention is to read it over the weekend. I just ended up smashing my way through it in one night. But yeah, I truly loved it. It was very, very good, and I'm very excited about the rest of the series to come out. So my intention, I've got to be quick now because I've got 7 minutes left. So my next read is going to be Tomorrow, Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I am intrigued by this one. I know it was on a lot of people's favourite lists last year, and I think even the year before. I think it actually won an award the year before. When did this come out? 2022, so last year. It was on a lot of people's favourites list for last year, and a lot of people's favourite of the year as well for last year, and I have seen some people this year saying it's their favourite book of the year as well. So I am intrigued by this one. Whether or not I will enjoy it, I'm not sure. I'm going in with an open mind, but it is YA, and I don't read a lot of YA these days, and I'm not like huge into gaming and stuff, but I'm intrigued nonetheless. I'm going in with an open mind. It follows 2 kids who meet in the hospital. One of them is there for an operation, one of them is visiting their sister after following a car crash, and they end up meeting in the games room in the hospital and bonding over gaming, and then they bump into each other, I think on the tube or something, 8 years later, and they end up fulfilling their dream of doing gaming stuff together for work. And I think it's like a story of love in the sense of friendship. I don't know if it's necessarily a romance, but yeah, I think it's YA anyway. After saying that, they meet 8 years later, so yeah, I don't know, we'll see, but I am intrigued nonetheless. So I'm going to give this a bash, see how it goes. This was featured in Book of the Month. I do have the Waterstones edition. I don't have a subscription box edition, but it was featured in a subscription box. So yeah, this will be my 4th read of the readathon. I have DNF'd one of those though, so 3rd completed, if I complete it, completed read of the readathon. And no, that's not right. Empire the Vampire, Immortal Longings, Lotus, One Dark Window. 5th read of the readathon, and if I complete it, 4th read of the readathon. Interesting. But it'll be my 6th book of the week. What? Empire of the Vampire. Oh yeah, no, I DNF'd Immortal Longings. Empire of the Vampire, Lotus, One Dark Window, Breakout. It'll be my 5th book of the week if I complete it. But 6th if you include Immortal Longings, because I did try it. Fucking hell. Who is she? Right, I'm gonna go. I am on a little bit of a go slow today, so I don't know how much progress I'm gonna make in this. Apparently it is split into parts, though. I have just noticed that. So I might try and update you once I get to the 2nd part, which is around page 60. So I'll update you, let you know my initial thoughts. I'm going to give it to at least that, I think, before I make any 100% decisions on it. But yeah, I'm going to go and get on with that. I need to get myself ready now for sprints in 3 minutes. So I will check back in with you later. Hello. All right, it's not been long. It's 5 to 1. 5 to 2. That made no sense, did it? It's 5 to 2. No, it's not. It's 5 to 3. I was just thinking then that makes no sense. That means it would have been 20 minutes. It's 5 to 3. We've done a sprint. And I have read up to the second part in tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. I'm DNFing this. I'm sad about it, I'm not gonna lie, because I know that this is very popular. This happens to me regularly with kind of alternative popular books. I tend to not like them. Long Way to a Small Angry Planet is a perfect example of this, by Becky Chambers. I know everyone loves that book. I hated it. It's so character driven and I was really bored. There was no plot, and I find that this could be very similar. It is very character driven. We're following Sam and Sadie, and I've told you initially the plot of this in the clip before this. But we're following them in two different timelines. Also, it doesn't necessarily tell you which timeline you're in at the beginning of the chapter either. You just kind of have to guess. But this friendship already is very toxic. They had a falling out, and Sam called Sadie a cunt, and then they didn't speak for a really long time, and now in present day they've bumped into each other again, and Sadie gave Sam her game to have a go of and her email so that he could speak to her about the game. He emailed her, she ignored him. He emailed her again, she ignored him again. Then he turned up at her house and she was really rude to him, and I'm just really confused by this friendship. It seems quite toxic. As I always do when I'm thinking about DNFing a book, I went onto Goodreads to have a look at the negative reviews to see what other people are saying. I always feel like I need, unless I know 100% for certain that I need to be DNFing a book because the writing style's not for me, or because of something that I just don't agree with in a book, or something that makes me uncomfortable or triggers me, I go to Goodreads to look at the negative reviews to see what people are saying. And I agree with quite a lot of the negative reviews. This friendship is toxic. And they also say that this is very character driven. There isn't much plot. They're not sure what the point was of the book. I'm also finding that it's quite in depth with the gaming side of things. Now, I'm not a gamer. I play games on my Switch. I play, but they're like cozy games. I am by no means a gamer. I don't understand gaming speak. I don't understand the tech. No. So I'm finding that a lot of this, I'm actually just turning off while they're speaking about games and then turning back on again, and then they've moved on and another conversation is happening, and I'm just finding that I'm not engaged with this at all. I don't particularly like Sadie or Sam. I don't like the way they treat each other, and yeah, I'm just not enjoying it. So I did get 60 pages in, but I am DNFing it, and I'm sad about it, I'm not gonna lie. But it's another book off my TBR, and that's the whole point in these things. So I then went ahead and did a poll with 4 books because I can't decide what to read today. Because of my lack of sleep, I am feeling very, I don't know, I feel like I need something quick and easy to get through. Give me a sense of achievement. Why I need a sense of achievement, that's like the 6th book of the week, despite the fact that I've now DNF'd 2 books this week. But I just need something easy to get through, I think. So I put a poll on Instagram. The books that are featured and the reasons why they're featured are as follows. Happy Place by Emily Henry, one of my most anticipated reads of the year. The fact that I haven't read it yet is absolutely mortifying. And I do want to get to this before the end of the year. Also on my end of year TBR, this one came in the Afterlight exclusive box. I do also have a Waterstones edition. Then we have God Killer by Hannah Kaner. This is the Fairyloot edition, if I remember correct. No, it's not. It's the Illumicrate edition. Sorry. This is the Illumicrate edition. The reason why I've put this on here is because the Illumicrate edition of Sunbringer, I think that's what it's called, is being released on the 7th of December. So I wouldn't mind trying to get to it before then to know whether or not to buy the second one. But if I don't get to it before then, I will just buy the second one anyway. That's the worst thing for me, is when I enjoy the first book and I didn't buy the second. So I will just buy it anyway, and if I don't enjoy it, I can sell them on together as a duo, which is great news. But yeah, so that one has gone on here as well. Then we have Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. I know I was saying, was it yesterday or the day before, that this one was not in Book of the Month, so therefore I couldn't include it in this readathon because it wasn't a subscription box. My patrons actually helped me out yesterday trying to find whether or not this was featured in a book, and it was featured in a crime and thriller subscription box recently. So it was the October pick. I can't remember what the subscription service was called now off the top of my head, but it was the thriller pick. So it has been featured in a box. This one is on my end of year TBR also, which is the reason why it's on here as an option. And then last but by no means least, we have Vampire Academy by Richelle Mead. I say that, I do that all the time, Richelle Mead. This is the Fairy Loot edition, which I bought secondhand, and I do have the set. And the reason for this one going on here, it is quick, fast-paced. I have been wanting to read this for a while now. I've been wanting to read it for probably 18 months, but just haven't been picking it up. And then Vampathon happened in October, and I really wanted to pick this up for Vampathon, but I didn't own these copies. And my thought process, because I didn't get the Fairy Loot ones at the time, and I was like, maybe I'm past it now, blah, blah, blah. And then I wanted to read it for Vampathon, and then I was like, but I'm gonna be so fucking pissed if I enjoy it and I didn't get the Fairy Loot ones. So then I was scouring Vinted, came across some for sale, and ended up buying them secondhand. So now I want to read it. Also, despite the fact that this is the chunkiest out of all of these options, this is actually the shortest audiobook. So the text is just incredibly fucking large in this book. So yeah, this will give me a quick sense of achievement. I'm in the mood for it, so that is the reason why it's on here. So let's have a quick look at the poll. I did only put it up maybe a half hour ago, but let's have a quick look at the poll and see what I'm going to be reading. Oh, it's very close actually. I did check on it a minute ago, but I think a bunch of my patrons have just gone on to vote as well. So we do have in last place, ironically enough, Vampire Academy. Then we have Happy Place. Vampire Academy got 20%. Happy Place got 21%. Then we have God Killer with 23%. These were all very close. And one of my patrons, Lindsay, did just say that she ended up DNFing this because it was very slow. So maybe it's not conducive to a readathon. Maybe it's one that I need to take my time with. Then obviously the winner is Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead with 36%. I think a lot of people know that I love to smash out a thriller in a day. It gives me, I just really enjoy the process of smashing out a thriller in a day. So I'm very intrigued about this one, and I'm very excited that it's won. And the good thing about this is that I could read this today, and then I've got a whole day tomorrow to read as well, before I go and pick Andy up from work. So yay for that. So this one is about a killer haunts a small southern town and two outcasts, the preacher's daughter and the boy from the wrong side of the tracks, hold the key to uncovering the truth. For fans of verity and a flicker in the dark, Midnight is the Darkest Hour is a twisted tale of murder, obsessive love, and the beastly urges to lie dormant within us all. Even the God-fearing folk of Bottom Springs, Louisiana. In her small hometown, librarian Ruth Cornier has always felt like an outsider, even as her beloved father rains fire and brimstone warnings from the pulpits at Holy Fire Baptist. Unfortunately for Ruth, the only things the townspeople fear more than God and the devil are the myths that haunt the area, like the story of the Low Man, a vampire figure said to steal into sinners' bedrooms and kill them on moonless nights. When a skull is found deep in the swamp next to the mysterious carved symbols, Bottom Springs is thrown into uproar, and Ruth realises only she and Everett, an old friend with a dark past, have the power to comb the town's secret underbelly in search of the evil. A dark and powerful novel, like fans have come to anticipate from Ashley Winstead, Midnight is the Darkest Hour is an examination of the ways we expect love, religion and stories to save us, the lengths we have to go to in order to take back power, and the monstrous work of being a girl in this world. I'm very intrigued about this one. I gave In My Dreams I Hold a Knife 3 stars. I gave The Last Housewife 5. So I'm very excited about going into this one with Ashley Winstead, because this will be my third book from her, and I am hyped. I do actually need to try some of her romance as well, because she's got Fool Me Once and The Boyfriend Candidate, so I am intrigued by those as well. But yeah, I'm going to pick this one up now instead. So I'm excited. I'm thrilled that I have a thriller on here. I apologise for that next door having some work done. So I'm going to go and I'll check back in with you and have an update for you. Sunday. It's the last day of the readathon and I am hoping to go out with a bang today. I have just finished Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. I did not like this and I am sad about it. Very sad about it. This was definitely leaning more on the religious side of things, which is not something I enjoy reading about in books. The two characters we were following, I liked. They were okay. I will say the narrator for the audiobook for this made the female character, the main character, Ruth, sound like a child. So I felt like, albeit she was like from the ages of 17 up until I think 19, if I remember correctly, she sounded like she was 15. So, I don't know, there's a list of triggers in here as well. Do be wary going into this before you pick it up. I think Ashley does do, yeah, she does a content warnings page in here. Religious fundamentalism, substance abuse, ableism, colonialism, familial violence, sexual violence, child abuse, and murder. So be wary of that before you go into this one. I just didn't like this story. I was particularly bored. I liked how it kind of wrapped up. I didn't like the ending, it was very open-ended. But I liked how it kind of like wrapped up and came together in the end. But it was just not for me and I didn't enjoy it. I think that this could end up with a 1.5 2-star, which is a real shame because I was really hoping we would be on the higher end of the scale for this one, because I gave In My Dreams I Hold Knife 3, The Last Housewife 5, and this one's going to get a 1.5 or 2-star rating, I reckon. I haven't run it through Corpile yet, but I'll give you my full ratings on everything at the end of the readathon, at the end of the vlog. But yeah, I just wasn't a fan. I didn't like it. I didn't like the religious aspect to it, which the problem is, it was a huge part of it. It was like cultish. And I did not like it, which is weird because there was a cultish element to The Last Housewife and I didn't mind that. I don't think I mind a cult, but when it is heavily religious, the way this was, I'm not a fan. And I know cultism is like on the religious side. I think it just depends on how it's done for me. Sorry. I had a nosebleed this morning and my nose is killing now. So yeah, this was a flop for me. I'm glad I've managed to read it. I didn't want to DNF it because I really wanted to complete it, just to see whether or not it would get better, but unfortunately not for me, which is a shame. Will I continue picking up Ashley instead? Probably. Will I continue to pay the obscene amount of money that these hardbacks seem to be coming in at now? I think this was around 20... Oh no, I got it cheap. Did I get this one cheaper? Or was that a different book? I think this was around 25 quid, which I just can't understand the price of hardbacks, the way that they're going up. It's absolutely ridiculous. I spotted a pre-order for the new Finlay Donovan the other day, £26. £26. It's not even a proper sized hardback. It's one of the smaller, is it a B1? I'm saying absolutely fucking not. We know full well I will end up buying it, but I don't want to pay 26 quid for it. That's just obscene. So my next book that I am going to pick up, because I'm about to go on sprints, in fact I'm probably over now, but my next book that I am going to pick up, and I have already started, is Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. I know absolutely nothing about this other than it's vampires, and I assume it's set in an academy. Only a true best friend can protect you from immortal enemies. Lissa Dragomir is a mortal vampire. She must be protected at all times from the fiercest and most dangerous vampires of all, the ones who will never die. Rose Hathaway is Lissa's best friend and her bodyguard. Now, after 2 years of illicit freedom, they've been dragged back inside the iron gates of the St. Vladimir's Academy. The girls must survive a world of forbidden romances, a ruthless social scene, and terrifying nighttime rituals. But above all, they must never let their guard down, lest the immortal vampires take Lissa forever. I have never heard of a mortal vampire before. Clearly that means she can be killed, which is fascinating to me. I'm only up to chapter 3. I'm 26 pages in. The text in here is freaking huge, and I'm hoping that I will be able to finish this today, but I will end up having some time left, I reckon, because this, I think I only have about 3.5 hours left of the audiobook, which is shocking considering how chunky it is, but the text is large in here. So we have already obviously met Lissa and Rose. We start off with them having a feed. Lissa clearly feeds off of Rose, and we've now got to a point where they've been taken back to St. Vladimir's Academy, and Rose was supposed to be being exiled. However, one of the guys that has ended up retrieving them has said no, let her stay, and I will train her and just, you know, let her stay, because Lissa and Rose have a connection. I think they're kind of tied together or something. So he's like, no, she needs to stay. We're low on protectors anyway. We need her to stay. So yeah, she's just been told that she's not allowed to do any social activities. She must be training before and after lessons, etc, etc. So I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to know if I am going to like this. I am hoping that what will happen with this is similar to what happened with me with Vampire Academy. It's not necessarily perfectly written, but it's addictive nonetheless, and I really enjoy myself. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I want today. I'm feeling less tired today than I was yesterday. I had a reasonably early night. I think I was lights out for about 1:15 midnight, which for me is very early. Also, do you like my new sweater? It's one of my Christmas sweaters from Stitchers, and I love it. It says, "Is it too late to be good?" And it's got the Grinch on it, and I love it. It's so cute. I wanted to put this on today because I have been wrapping Christmas presents and also been making a wreath. I've tried to get it to fit to my door, but the suckers that I've got for the door for some reason will not stick to the glass on my door, and I'm really fucking mad about it because now I've made this wreath and I've nowhere for it to go. So yay. So yeah, I'm gonna go because I need to get started on sprints, but this is what I'm reading today and I'm excited for it. Hello, it is finally time for me to wrap this reader vlog up. I've just very quickly shown you an overview of what I've managed to read in this reading vlog, and quite frankly I am shooketh. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really shocked, because on top of all of this that I've just shown you, I also finished a almost 300-page arc as well that has nothing to do with this reading vlog. So yeah, it's been an interesting week for sure. You will have also seen my new bookcase as well. I built this last night, and this is the reason why I am in so much pain with my back. I don't think that's the reason why I'm in so much pain with my back. I was editing this vlog and realised that I actually mentioned a few days ago that my back was hurting. I think it was on, what day is today? On Friday when I built the drawers for in the office, but my back had been hurting right up until that point because I remember picking Thomas up earlier in the week, and struggling with my back. So I don't know what I've done, but today has been excruciating. I've barely been able to get off the sofa properly, so I've been in a lot of pain. So sitting here right now, I am struggling to say the least. But I did build this, put it all together, just put a few books on. I wanted to stick with like a nice darkish gold and black theme. There is a bunch of books here. This spot is for Empire of the Vampire. When I finish talking to you about it, I may bring the gold one down here. I just don't want to ruin the sprayed edges with it. Of course my fucking battery's flashing. I'm gonna have to get off the floor and go and get another battery from upstairs. Fuck's sake. I'm gonna wait till it dies. I can't be bothered. So this is the stack. I don't understand how. I don't know what happened. Will I be doing the box readathon with my patrons again? Hell fucking yes, I will. If this is the progress I'm gonna have with subscription box books, hell to the yes, I will be doing this again. This was amazing and I really enjoyed it. I think my patrons did as well. I did a whole bunch of sprints this week. I've pretty much spent the whole week with them except for Wednesday and Thursday. That is it. I did sprints the rest of the week. It's been so good. I am exhausted, I will say that, but yeah, I've done all of this. I just cannot with myself. Let me change that battery because it's going to be inconvenient if I'm halfway through a sentence. It's so warm in here. I need to turn that fire off. Oh, my back. Right. Let's go through what I read this week. I am going to tell you about the book that wasn't part of this readathon as well, just for consistency's sake. I'm very clearly tired. So we started off the week. I honestly didn't think I was going to get through the books that I had on my TBR, which were 3 books. And I've nailed this TBR. I thought it was going to be a struggle to get through this one, to be honest. But I started off the week with Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. I am so thrilled that I have read this book because I do have Empire of the Damned pre-ordered from Waterstones. And I was on the fence about whether or not to cancel it because I didn't know whether I was going to get through this or not. I'm so glad I've done it now because it means I can also order the Illumicray one when it's finally released. So I'm really, really hyped. I'm excited that I'm going to get the Waterstones one as well because it does mean that I can read it when it comes because I think the Illumicray one will be a bit later. But I'm so freaking hyped. Very excited I read this one. It got 4.5 stars on Corpile, but it was a very high 4.5 stars, so I just gave it 5 on Goodreads. I loved this. Very, very good indeed. Buzzing that I've finished it. So proud of myself. Next, we did have a little bit of a downer with Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. I went on a massive rant about why I didn't like this book. I DNF'd it 60 pages in, 59 pages in, whatever it was. Wasn't a fan. Glad it's off my TBR. A DNF. It's fine. Then I did read Lotus by Jennifer Hartman. I was 84 pages into this when we started the readathon. I already started this earlier on in the year, but I'm so glad that I finally finished it. This is not a special edition. It didn't come in a subscription box to me, but it was featured in a subscription box, so it still counts. So I'm so glad that I've managed to get this off my TBR, giving it a good read, and I gave it 4 stars. Didn't enjoy it as much as Still Beating, but it was still good nonetheless, and I'm excited to continue on with Jennifer Hartman's book. Then I did read One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, and this was the last that was actually officially on my TBR for this week. Sorry, that was Lotus having a meltdown. Yeah, this was the final one that was officially on my TBR for this week, and I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars, 4.5 stars on Corpile, and I'm really excited to have gotten this one read before 2 Twisted Crowns comes out on Tuesday with Fairy Loot. So, well, the Fairy Loot special edition, so that I have the matching special editions. I'm really, really excited. Did enjoy this one. 4 stars, 4.5 on Corpile. Then I did read the book that had nothing to do with this readathon. I just read it during this week, so I'm going to tell you about it anyway, which was Breakout by Kylie Kent. I fucking loved that book. It was so good. Ironically enough, that was my favourite book of the week. albeit Empire the Vampire could be classed as my favourite book of the week, but Breakout did get 5 stars and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you want a reminder of what that is, you can go back and have a look at my review during this vlog. I have done a massive long review, probably the longest review I've ever done for a book, quite frankly, on Goodreads. And you can check that out if you want to. But yeah, that does come out. It came out actually yesterday. When this video goes up, it came out yesterday, Tuesday. So for me, in 2 days time, but for you guys, when you're watching this, yesterday. So if you want to go and get that, it's on Kindle Unlimited, but she also has physical copies as well. Mine is coming tomorrow, Monday, and I'm so excited to have a physical copy. I'm so excited to continue that series. So yeah, 5 stars for Breakout. Then we did have another flop with Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I DNF this one as well. I just was not having a good time with it, and I will not be going back to it. It's not a soft DNF, it's a definite hard DNF. Again, this wasn't a subscription box book for me. This is the Waterstone Special Edition, but it was featured in Book of the Month, so it still counts. Just glad to have given it a try and to also get it off my TBR, which is fantastic news, so yay. Then we did do Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead, another one that isn't for me, special edition, but was featured in the subscription box recently. Again, still can't remember the name of the subscription box, but it was. We did a thorough search into it, me and my patrons. This was on my November MBR along with Lotus and Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, so I'm glad I've managed to get through all of them. 2 stars. I ran it through Corpile, it got 2 stars, it scraped a 2 star. This was not great, and I'm disappointed. I will continue to pick up from Ashley instead though. And then last, but by no means least, I did give Vampire Academy a go by Rochelle Mead. This is the Fairy Loot edition, the gorgeous Fairy Loot edition. I was really excited about this. I have just finished it now. Also, I did not know this at the time when I picked it up, but this is the book. This is extra content for Fairy Loot readers only. So it's some untold stories. So I haven't read them, because if I just had the physical copy and still did this readathon, I would only have this. Also, I don't have the time today. It is currently 11:35. I wouldn't even finish this today if I attempted to read them. I'll come back to them at some point, but today is not the day. I just wanted to get through the main book. This was good. It was okay. It did not give me Zodiac Academy vibes, which is a shame, but I still had a good time with it. It's definitely a book of its time. The writing style is of its time for sure. I didn't realise this was as old as it is, 2007. So it's definitely a YA book of its time. I envisage, you know, Twilight, that kind of era, The Hunger Games, Divergent, etc. So I assume that was around the time of that. Anyway, 2007, I would have been 17. Is that right? I left school in 2006 when I was 16, so yeah, 17. It's definitely of its time. I was reading Twilight when I was 18, so I probably would have loved this back when I was 17, but I'm now 33 going on 34 in 2 weeks time, and it was good. I had a good time with it. I'm going to continue on with the series. It did get 3.5 stars on Corpile, so it's going to get a 3 on Goodreads, but I'm still going to continue on with it. Just didn't give me the vibes of Zodiac like I'd hoped it might do, but that's fine. It's okay. They're still very, very pretty. Even if I hadn't enjoyed it, I don't think I would be able to get rid of these books because they're so pretty. But yeah, it was fine. It was okay. The characters are clearly quite young, and there was a scene actually towards the end between 2 of the characters, Rose and another character actually, that was approaching a sex scene, and there is an age difference between the 2 characters. Gave me the ick a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, but just because of how it was written and some of the dialogue that was coming out of Rose's mouth, and the thought she was having, It gave me the ick a little bit. It's clearly of its time, you can tell. But otherwise, I liked the plot. It was good, and I'm intrigued to know what happens next as well. So yeah, I will be continuing on with it. These books are just too pretty. I am intrigued to read the stories towards the end as well. There's like 150 pages of untold stories at the back of this book, so which I wasn't anticipating. I was getting to like this point and I had 2 hours of the audiobook left and I was so confused. I was like, this doesn't make sense. The math isn't mathing. So I flicked through to try and find out what was going on, and it turned out that like from this point onwards they're untold stories for fairy loot readers or people who own the book, you know. So this is the actual this is the actual story, Vampire Academy. So that makes way more sense. But yeah, 3 stars, 3.5 for this one. So in total, I went through, let's say I went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In total, I went through 8 books this week. 8 books this week. 2 of which I DNF'd. So we're down to 6 books this week. 1 of which didn't count for this readathon, Breakout. So I did, in actual fact, complete 5 books, which I'm super fucking happy with, I'm not gonna lie. Lotus, One Dark Window and Midnight is the Darkest Hour were on my end of year TBR, which I'm really happy about. Empire of the Vampire, I didn't put purposely on my end of year TBR because I didn't want to put that pressure on myself, but maybe I should have. But I've nailed it now, so yay for that. And then also Tomorrow was also on my end of year TBR, so I'm glad I've managed to get that off of here as well. Immortal Longings was my patron buddy read. This was picked for me by Claire, one of my patrons. This one was picked for me by Aslau. So I've been making really good progress in some books and I'm really, really happy. Do I wish that I'd have prioritised Divine Rivals and gone back to that one? Potentially, yeah. I probably should have done that because that was my previous buddy read with patrons, so I do now need to go back to that at some point, but it is what it is. I'm just still really happy with this progress. I actually can't believe it. I actually read 7 books for this readathon. Granted, 2 of them I DNF'd, but that's 2 books off of my TBR and out of my library because I'm going to unhaul them. Out of the rest of them, I will unhaul Midnight is the Darkest Hour as well, but the rest can stay because I liked them enough that they can stay. Them's the rules. Yeah, I probably will get rid of Midnight is the Darkest Hour. There's no need for me to keep hold of a 2-star book when I need room for others. But yeah, this was super successful and I'm so proud of myself. I truly am. I'm very proud of my patrons because they also smashed it and I'm really, really happy with how it went. So 100% doing this again. I've actually gone through the 2024 yearly calendar to see where I can slot these in because I do F1 readathons every month for my patrons, but they're a 24-hour readathon, whereas this one was a special edition week-long one, and I would like to do it again with them. And I said to them, I would love to make this like a regular thing. I would happily do this every other month, but because of my other commitments with Final Book Support Group and Literature Club, I can't fit them in every other month, so we're going to dot them around. Maybe combine them with Final Book Support Group a couple months, because why the heck not? And yeah, I'm freaking hyped. I'm so excited to do this again. I kind of wish I could do it every week, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, maybe I could in my head, but I've got other projects I need to be getting on with. So yeah, super successful. Chat to me in the comments down below. What was the last subscription box book that you completed? Did you enjoy it? Have you, if you don't have subscription box books, have you read any of these? What were your thoughts on them? Please don't give me shit for tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. It just wasn't for me. I know it's well loved in the community, but it just wasn't for me, which is the story of my fucking life, quite frankly. I probably dislike a lot of your favourite books. It is what it is. We all have different reading tastes. Not everybody's gonna like the same thing, you know? I had a fantastic time this week. I truly did. Not only that, but I kind of combined this week with another video that's coming up later on this week, which is my winter reset, in which I like decorated the house for Christmas. And I'm just feeling super festive, you know. I've had a really good reading week. I'm feeling dead festive, absolutely thriving. I'm fucking shattered, but I'm thriving. I'm in pain, but I'm thriving. Festive season is my era, I'm not gonna lie. I freaking love it. So chat to me in the comments down below, let me know your thoughts on any of these books, and once again thank you to the sponsor of this video, who are Teddy Blake. I super appreciate you sponsoring me again for this video, and if you want to have a look at their website, they do currently have a sale going on, so check them out in the description box down below, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.